introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Laura Myers. I'm a board member of UNNC, and I'm for tonight's meeting your Zoom host and administrator, struggling along with some new technology. And that's me. Did you guys?
It says meeting is now streaming on
Perfect.
YouTube. Okay.
Okay.
So that's new for us. Okay, why don't we keep going? Michael?
Michael Kimbrough. I'm also on the UNNC governing board. I live in the Avenues and am been a board member for 2 years.
Thank you. Beverly? Okay, if those people who aren't here, we'll catch them later. Carlos?
Good evening, everyone. It's Carlos Carrick, at-large representative, UNCC, West Adams.
Kylene?
Evening, this is Kylene, and I am a neighbor of the Avenues.
4th Avenue, right?
Yes.
Okay, Jaime? You're muted.
No sé qué más tengo que decir. No sé qué más tengo que decir.
Jaime, just introduce yourself if you can.
Yes, my name is Jaime Lopez, and I live on 3rd Avenue.
Thank you. Neighbor. Monica, introduce.
Monica Benjamin, I'm the Recreation Facility Director at Southeast House, Benny Potter Park. Thank you.
Okay. Caller 9622.
Hi, I'm Senior Lead Officer Anna Maria Mejia from LAPD Southwest Division, and I cover the Avenues and Benny Potter Park.
Thank you. Laura, do you have to do the special?
Oh, yeah, let me share the screen. Sorry, and then read that out loud. There is a special sentence drawing everybody's attention to, yeah, just so sorry, I have to grab this. So while I'm grabbing this, I want to draw everyone's attention to the determination to continue to hold meetings virtually. I'm not sure if you can yet see my screen.
We can.
That's a yes?
Yes.
Perfect. The Board of Neighborhood Commissioners, BONC, and the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment have established that the board has the authority to adopt statewide AB 361 findings on behalf of the city's neighborhood councils, and to determine that due to the COVID-19 state of emergency, meeting in person would present imminent risks to the health or safety of the attendees. This meeting is being conducted virtually pursuant to that directive.
Hey, thank you very much. Is that it? That's it.
That is it. And we've done the introductions. We're looking.
Welcome and call to order. Okay.
Right, and we're looking at the agenda.
Yes, we're all able to see it. We got a 1 or 2 minute window for anyone who has a comment they are burning that's not on agenda that they would like to make regarding parks within the 10. And right now we're talking about 3 parks. That's the park on Washington Irving Pocket Park, the Leslie Shaw Park, and the Benny Potter Park. If you'd like to have a comment for something that's not part of our agenda, go ahead. Raise your hand. And if not, we'll continue on our agenda. I don't see any hands. Okay, no public comments. Right now, I don't see Danielle or Mary has joined the meeting, so we will go on to our guest, Anna Maria R. Slow. Anna, if you can definitely talk about anything that you feel is valuable for the community. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate that. Good evening, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. I just want to let everybody know that most importantly, I've been out, but I am returning the second week in August. So physically, everyone will see me back in the neighborhood and back at the park. But with that being said, I do know recently in the past few months, we've had a lot of graffiti that has gone on in the park and around the park area. So every time that comes up, I report it to our gang unit, our supervisors. We get the tagging removed, and we do have an individual that we firmly believe is causing all these issues with the gang graffiti in the area and other issues. So Donna has communicated a tremendous amount of things and concern with the community. And to me, it's very important that we keep that park safe and clean. I know Monica's on as well. So last week, I ended up speaking with our senior lead officer. We have a security service division who's our SLO for South Bureau, so the entire South LA area. He is responsible for the parks and the libraries. So that would include Leslie Shaw and Jefferson Park Library and Benny Potter Park and other parks in Southwest. So he did go today. He met with Monica, our park director. Hi, Monica. And he let me know that he did a foot beat as well in the park. He's going to come back the next 2 days because I let him know and shared with him the concern from the community and with this one individual and to what has been happening. So I did speak with the captain earlier today as well, and he's going to have the mission in Southwest, which we have every single day. He's going to make sure that our gang unit has extra patrols at the park. And he also is asking for any overtime details, which usually goes by USC, to come down to Benny Potter Park in the avenues to make sure that we keep that area safe like we always have. We did have an incident on Saturday, the 23rd, and it was at 1:50 early afternoon by the park playground area. And there was a group of suspects that ended up snatching jewelry from the victim, and then they got into a vehicle. So the vehicle description that the victim gave the officers was a silver, either a Hyundai, but it was like a 4-door 2013 year vehicle. They think it was a Hyundai. And then the license plate started with a 7, and they gave the rest of the numbers. So there was approximately, hold on, because I'm just reading. There was about 3 suspects involved, and they ended up using bodily force, as we call, where they hit the victim, and then they took off and removed his property. So that alerted myself, the captain, and my supervisor. Due to the incidents with this one individual that we feel is probably going to be responsible. But even if he's not responsible, the positive thing is we did get a good license plate, so I know that the gang detectives are working that up. I have video of this individual in the area behind the park. So all that today has been forwarded to our gang officers and our supervisors and gang detectives because they can blow it up. And then what that can do is with this robbery that occurred, they can try to see if the victim will identify this individual that has been going through the park, causing problems, as well as the outside in our community. But with that being said, I have requested that the senior lead from Security Services works with me because they are responsible to bring in the park rangers, and he is on board. And you will meet him. Will be at our Coffee with the Cop at Benny Potter Park on August 20th because he wants to meet folks from the neighborhood and our community. And him and I will work together on making sure that this individual, we identify him and have them removed from the area. And from there, it's just working with each other. But I just want to make sure that everybody knows with Benny Potter, it's important to me to make sure that we have police presence. And obviously, when I return full duty, like I said, you guys will see me out there conducting my own foot beats. And then at nighttime, it's easier for me to communicate with patrol and our gang unit to also drive through Benny Potter and the avenues and the outside of the park, South Seaside, and the house next door to make sure everything is secured and keep everything safe.
Okay, we have one hand, Beverly.
Hi, Officer Mejia. I just wanted to commend you on the response Saturday, because your units, there were at least 2 to 3 units that showed up within minutes of that assault. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. So hopefully.
Thanks, Beverly.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you back.
Thank you.
Any other
Thank you.
questions? I don't see any other hands. Are there other questions, or if that, raise your hand if you have a question. We realized, Anna and I have been talking, there are other things that are going to be addressed, but we basically, she wanted to make sure that the issues in the direct park were going to be addressed this evening, so people knew that it had been all over Citizen app, and Beverly actually reached out to me right after it happened, and actually saw the car, I think, drive past her house, if I'm correct. But
yeah, that they did, and I think they turned right onto 6th Avenue, and then I think the police officers initially went straight up 25th, and then somehow they came back and went down 6th Avenue. I don't know what happened, but the LAPD showed up. I gotta give them a hand. They showed up within minutes. So I do have a question though, Don. I know we talked about having cameras in the park.
we have cameras in the park, and there are cameras next to that bathroom.
Okay.
Anna, you do know that camera's functioning.
Oh, that's good, because I'll let Detective Gallegos know that camera is working up and running.
Yeah, when we did we've been working with Recreation and Parks, and the park camera on that main park area is functional, and there is a DVR in the bathroom, so they can access it.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm. And, we're getting all of the cameras replaced and lighting, but that's coming up. The area has been given almost $200,000 to upgrade security, the cameras, and lighting in both regular Benny Potter and the annex and at the houses. So that's something that's coming up soon.
That's good.
Any other
And
questions?
I think the thing, everybody knows, Donna, there are cameras throughout the park. Does everybody know that?
Yeah, but the ones in the annex aren't functional.
Yeah.
But in the main park, right there next to the bathroom area and the play area, they are.
Okay, good.
They were tested recently.
Perfect. Does anybody have questions?
Monica's
Yes.
hand.
What time did this happen on Saturday?
At 1:50 in the afternoon, early afternoon.
And I'm assuming the park wasn't informed of this, like the office, right?
I didn't
Because
know.
Gavin didn't contact me, and he was there. Just curious.
No, I don't.
Was that-
I know it was on Citizen app. I'm not sure
Okay.
about anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, and I'll probably follow up with you later this
Okay,
week about that, okay? Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Monica.
Any other? Well, no other questions, then we want to say thank you to Anna, and we will get an update on this as soon as anything is available.
And I did, Donna, does anybody have any requests or anything regarding Leslie Shaw? Because I can write that out to Senior Lead Garcia.
Well, we basically wanted to, we've been trying to find out the area behind the park in the alleyway and in the main park, whether anyone's going through to oversee that. That has been a concern there, as well as the librarian. The idea
Carla.
is to check in. Yeah, Carla, I did invite her tonight to check in with
Okay.
her to make sure that things are running good for her, and as regarding the alleyway and right next door at the preschool, you know, just a door or so west, there was an encampment in front of the school. So that's something we've been trying to keep on our plate to see what's going on with that. And I haven't gotten any feedback because I reached out, you know, to the sergeant
Okay.
regarding
Okay.
that, the main part as well as the rear in the alley.
In the alley, is there an encampment as well?
There was. Now I haven't
Okay.
been down to look. Our plate is full up here.
Okay. What
I'm
I'll
taking
do too
pictures
is,
and going through all kinds of changes with that. So
okay. I'll send that to Officer Garcia, and I'll also send it to the SLO Ortega from our security services for Parks and Recs and libraries, and let him know too. So when they go through Benny Potter this week, and they're gonna go check out the house next door to South Seaside House as well, he told me. And
yes,
I know
Isidore.
yes. And so with the Isidore house, they're gonna make sure that location is secure, and then I'll also let him know if he can go by Leslie Shaw and make sure that Carla knows who he is as well, because he's replacing Ricardo Gaspy, because he's our SLO now for, like I said, for the library and for Parks and Recs. And then I'll send Sergeant Norwood an email too, just to follow up to make sure that the concern for those things get handled. And then I want her to go meet with Carla as well.
Yeah, well, that'd be great. And I'm, you know, I'm
Okay.
very concerned because next to a preschool, no one can be camped on the sidewalk. And it's literally almost at their door. So I've been concerned about that for a while. Whenever I go past, I've been worried about that. And I'm not sure why the neighbors aren't doing something, but it's not okay.
Okay. No, nope. I agree 100%.
So thank you so much for coming this evening, and we appreciate your time. And if there are no other questions,
Absolutely.
we will talk to you soon about the other issues.
Okay, perfect. You guys all have a good night. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so you guys realize there was, I don't know if Laura's on, but there was an opening of another small park, which is called Washington Irving. Do you want to address that, Laura?
Well, I'm on, but there were two simultaneous events that day, so I was at the other event,
Okay,
the Thrill of Sugar Hill. So I don't know if anybody else was at the opening of the park. I mean, I know that somewhere between 250 and 350 people came during the course of the day. I also think it's not really open.
I don't think so either. They're still
I mean,
working.
I haven't seen anybody playing there, so I think it was a grand opening, but it's not truly open. And of course, they still haven't finished the quote real fence. I'm hoping there will be a real fence and replacing that black wire fence with the fence that was designed for this park. So
Yes, and they were working on the sidewalk and the handicap access.
well, we can give all the negatives, but the positive is it looks like it's almost ready for kids to be playing in it.
Yes, you guys all know we're talking about up on Washington, next to the Washington Irving Library. That small park that was there before was upgraded. And I believe it will be locked.
At
And
sundown or maybe a little earlier.
yeah, so people will not sleep in the park. We had on our agenda to discuss, and I just wondered how people feel in an area like a play area, whether it should be child driven. And does everyone understand what that means? That adults should have kids with them when they're in the kiddie area, rather than adults being in the kiddie area without kids. If you have any, Kylene? Comment?
I agree. Yes, I agree with that. I don't think any adult should be in a children's area without children. For what?
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's suspicious for one. With everything going on, not just in the world, but in this particular community and how it has changed vastly, I don't feel any parent would be comfortable with an adult being in the area without a child.
And that's something we wanted to talk about and maybe reach out to our office to talk about it more and to see, because at one point that was brought forth in council and I don't think it went through. Anybody else have a comment or a feeling about that?
Well, Donna, the only thing I don't know, but it's a big thing, is if the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Association, which was the entity that really pushed on this park, if they even ever discussed that.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Right. Well, we have other parks over here,
Mhm.
and that issue, we had a problem with a guy who was basically camping out, laying under a blanket next to our play area, and people called who lived across the street, and we basically had him removed. But that's just something we should keep in. If we don't do it as a discussion tonight, we had put it on agenda. It's something we should be concerned a little bit about, because people who are using the park for something other than bringing their kids to play in the play area, it's okay for them to sit at the benches, to basically be in the play area with kids, and you have no kids. It's kind of a concern. And it is a concern to me. I know if I had any small kids, I would be worried about why that's happening. So that's something we'll probably bring up again and talk about.
Yeah, Johnny, you skipped over updates on park issues of maintenance and improvements.
Yes. Okay. As far as that particular issue, there are a couple of things that are we've been discussing and working on, and we've had some interruption of, but we will go back to it. There is an issue with the internet. Maybe Monica can update us. I hope she can. I hope she's had some movement. The lack of an internet at all in the two houses has been a big concern. Monica, do you have any update on that?
Not at this time in terms of their last visit. All I know is that they switched the alarm system from the Isidore now to South Sea, so that I should be able to navigate. But as terms of the actual internet, the connection, I don't have an update.
Okay, I'm going to follow up on that. That's been a big concern of ours. We have a quality of life committee that's been meeting with Recreation and Parks. Basically, Carlos, if you went to the park and did a speed test, you would not be a happy camper.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I think it was something like 15, and upstairs it might have been worse. And for what reason we don't have decent internet in the park, it's an issue that we're trying to work with. So
real quick question.
Yeah.
Do you know what we're paying for today?
What we're paying for?
Yes.
For that
speed- for the
I
speed.
don't know. It's a city contract to keep the
Yeah,
internet.
that's through Rec and Parks. It's not through UNNC or any other outside fund sourcing.
Because Carlos, to be honest, I offered to pay for Spectrum myself to provide until they would find the house and come back and repair it and to bring it to the 21st century. And we have not had a secondary meeting. So what we're doing now is waiting to actually meet again with Recreation and Parks regarding that issue. But I actually did offer because I was horrified because it was basically worse than DSL. I don't even know how the security system is functional.
I certainly like to be available, right, for that conversation. I can certainly,
You will be
hopefully
called
bring-
upon.
yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Because
Okay.
sitting in would be good. We are having like I said, we've had meeting upon meeting starting in February, and we have not, as far as I'm concerned, gotten anywhere. And we've actually gone to the park commissioner meeting. And that's how we ended up getting the upgrade in lighting and security cameras. So we know it does work, and we will continue with the help of whoever we need to make this happen, because that green space is all we have, everyone. And I'm glad that you came tonight, because that's all we have. And it's very important that we can stay on this and stay a part of making it meaningful for this community. And everything that is available, we want our fair share. The house, the Isidore House, as far as updates on that, we're waiting for the plan. There was a study done on the Isidore idea of restoration of that house next door, and to make it into a facility that would serve all kinds of opportunities for the community, the young people, older people, for arts and crafts and cooking and everything that the main house, South Seas, has not been able to fulfill. So that's something we're working on and waiting for our next meeting. And we're not going to wait much longer. I will definitely promise you that. Outside of, we're hoping for a sun sale at Leslie Shaw because of lack of trees in the play area and near the benches. It's just very hot. There are trees in certain areas, but it's very hot over other areas. So we'd like to get a sale, as you guys know what that is, installed. So that's something that's on our plate. And, we believe there's funding for it, but getting something done is another thing. We have a good crew. You'll notice if you go to the park is well kept. The bathrooms, the areas are cleaned and well kept. We are working with Monica on the upkeep of the extra equipment. If you go to the park, you know what we're talking about in the annex. So we're working. I don't know, Monica, is there any update on that?
No, maintenance reached out to me and they said they were going to continue and look through the job orders that were submitted, or they either going to look through the job orders that we submitted, or they put in another job order for service.
Okay, and they didn't ask for money this time.
Maintenance, no. But
So
remember when I
they're-
reached, sorry, Donna, remember when I reached out to you as to, where did this all come about so that I can figure out?
Yeah,
So I know you asked me to reach out to Mary. Mary hasn't responded, so I know she was out at the time. Because you said she might know where I can possibly trace back and then go directly with the company and say, okay, it came from Quimby funds or, another company, so to speak, so that we know if we need it, if there's a fee or something needs to be charged, then it's in place, not knowing if there's a life warranty on the equipment.
I will do what I can to find out about that again, because I'm reaching out to Kimani, and he was supposed to make a visit to the park and ask you, so what things were needed. And his plan was to come this week, possibly. So
Okay.
I will reach out and find out exactly when he will be able to do
appreciate
a
that.
walkthrough with you.
Thank you.
Outside of that, I'm not sure. Anything else?
Thank you.
For improvements, we definitely, as I said, we're talking about getting the Isidore House fully restored and getting a plan for it. And we already, as I said, did get monies for the security system. So we're working on that. Laura, keep me on point.
Yeah, so since we had skipped around a little, essentially the next one would just be upcoming programs and plans for August and September in our local parks. So,
Okay, you were gonna show something, but right
yeah,
now
I have some stuff to show, but since Monica's here, I don't, what programs are we having, at least at the one in the avenues, and nobody's here to tell us about Leslie Shaw, but I'm guessing there's no programs. And then I do have some stuff to show.
I wanted to mention the 20th, which some of you may know already because I blasted it to all of you for 20th of August, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that's going to be our area's opportunity for a social with Southwest, coffee with a cop, whatever you want to call it. I've been on the phone today. We will also have city departments that will be here, like street services, lighting, DWP, and sanitation. So we will have an opportunity to speak. There will be a small resource fair, people at tables to be able to answer questions, concerns, or talk about things that are upcoming, opportunities for the community regarding those departments. There is something that will be coming to our meeting in September from DWP, holiday lighting. I'm not sure about that, but that will be talked about at our first meeting in September. But outside of that, we will have a coffee cart. There will be a continental breakfast served, and there will be food from 11:30 to 1. After that, in the annex where the pavilion is. Anybody have questions about that on the 20th of August? Please note your calendar. Monica?
Yes, just want to also mention that we'll be doing our backpack drive. So if you have any backpacks, donations, school supplies, just bring them on South State's house, and then so we can have them prepared for the 20th. And then that will also be my opportunity to do like a mini open house of what we'll be offering for the fall.
Okay, we're gonna also try to find out where else donations are a possibility. If anyone would like to, you're welcome to drop or know anyone that has
Please, thank you.
access to school supplies, backpacks, whatever, or work for a company that would be willing to do a donation. There will be an opportunity for us to encourage and build that into something else that'll happen on the 20th of August, where we're able to donate to families, young people, and such. Anyone else have comment on those things?
Okay, so I'll share the two things I have, Donna.
Okay,
So, and if you received the e-blast for this meeting, I did something unusual, which is I put these image flyers into the e-blast. So what I would ask is, if you know young people who might be interested in programs at the parks, please just go ahead and forward them. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes,
Okay, so one thing is this program, it's none of our immediately local parks within UNNC's footprint, but there are a bunch of parks, including the Normandy Rec Center, which is essentially right across the street from UNNC. It's on the northeast corner of Venice and Normandy, which it participates with all these other parks in something called Summer Night Lights. And essentially there's just activities in the evenings already going on through August 13th from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. every Wednesday to Saturday. In that park, also the Martin Luther King Rec Center at 39th and Western. I want to say also the Toberman, but of course there's two Toberman rec centers, but this is the one at 1725 Toberman, which is going to be more like Pico and Toberman. Well, more like Venice and Toberman, between Venice and Washington, not the one at Adams. But in any case, they have all kinds of programs. So, and then starting August 19th to September 2nd, it'll be Friday and Saturday evenings. And then, let's see if I can, right. And then this coming Friday, you know, we're used to going to movies in the park at the Benny Potter Park, but we don't have that this year as far as I know. But there is a movie in the park on July 29th, which is this Friday, at Warren Miller Park, which is essentially just east of Jefferson Park. It's at 27th and Halldale. It's just a couple of blocks east of Western. The difference between the one we're used to going to and this one is that it does require, it's free, but you have to have a ticket. And you can see on this that it's in the e-blast. It's through Eventbrite, and you know, it's from Council District 8. So it's Council District 8 events.eventbrite.com. But, and it says it's HTTP. I sure hope it's HTTPS so that you guys won't get blocked from RSVP by your computer security. So, you know, we're going to try and, we UNNC, we this committee, we're looking into stuff that's happening at nearby parks too, because we know that our residents, you know, that they're going to nearby parks or our parks right within, depending on the programs that they have. So, you know, if there's a baseball program or a gymnastics program at Queen Anne, they're going to go there. So those are the things I wanted to share. And again, feel free, please, if you know young people or their parents, just forward the e-blast from this meeting, but eliminate the meeting stuff when you forward it so they can't come to the meeting tomorrow. Okay, thank you.
thank you. That's helpful. That is really a cute movie. If you haven't seen it, or if your kids haven't, if you have kids, it is really, really a cute movie. Really well done. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
Outside
So,
of,
no, if we're done with, if anybody else has any activities they know about in the summer, but otherwise we have the next item.
anybody? Please, welcome to share. It's an opportunity. Hopefully next year we will be back to movies in the park. It's something that Film LA is willing to support the community in doing. We're accustomed to our council district doing it, but this year has been particularly difficult. But it's something we can plan for next year. I don't see why we couldn't have it again.
Well, I don't see why we couldn't have other Ravinia style events, and Ravinia being a place in Illinois where people go all the time for music, you know, concerts and this and that and the other. So I would love to liven up our park in the summer with events like that. But I think nobody has a lot of bandwidth these days to do extra things.
Well, there's just so much going on, and the pandemic has taken it out, but we can plan early to do something. possibly with Film LA, because they will support us in getting movies and I think other ways financially. Because this community does a lot of filming, it would definitely be something that we could probably get their support with. I did help Sandra get in touch with the community representative for Film LA. So we'll see where that goes, but
All right.
it's
Good.
an opportunity. Definitely. Jeff,
It's here.
Yes, Donna.
is there any, do they do filming in your, at the parks? Have they been doing movies in the park close?
We've got a couple of neighborhood councils that have requested movies in the park, but unlike the past with CD10 and whatnot, we have a screen set up and a projector in our district office, and I'm being trained on it so I can meet the needs of the movies in the park.
Well, that's, maybe Film LA will help you. We have that type of capability here on 7th Avenue too. So
Yeah,
it's
but
something,
that's me.
yes. So that's something we can definitely anticipate for next year. I'm hoping that we can get a thing going for our park and have people able to come maybe 2 or 3 times over the summer. We, with gas being so expensive, we should hopefully be able to bring more things to the local area for the families. And that's something that with everyone's help, it can happen.
Right. Well, that kind of moves us to the misnumbered next 2 items, because I'm seeing the numbers were repeated. Oops. But so the next item would be at the request of our new president, Greg Jackson, is that the various UNNC committees begin to talk about their goals for the next, for starting now through June. And it sounds like one of this committee's goals might be to develop activities like our own movies in the park, not rely on a council office. But in any case, did we want to tonight? Donna, it's 10 of 8. Did you want to start talking about some goals for the year?
Well, I think we could probably reach out. We can leave it with people and hopefully they can come back next time with the idea of upgrading our mission statement to the types of things you want to see happening at our green space. So.
Right. Yeah. So the committee had been inactive for some years. When many of our committees had been less than perfectly active before the pandemic. And then of course, neighborhood councils were shut down completely by the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment when the pandemic hit. And then eventually, as you all know, we came back on Zoom, but we started out just with, governing board, our officers committee, and planning and zoning because we really needed to. But by the fall of 2020, we had started in reactivating a lot of our committees, including recreation and parks. But it is now 2 years later, and the mission statement and vision statement that was developed at that time, I have to figure out how to get my hands on it, may or may not be the direction we are still going in anyway. So Greg wanted us to come up with goals. I mean, us meaning each committee. It's a little bit difficult because, it's not like this is something you can do instantly. And then in the case of recreation and parks, I think we want to reevaluate even more specifically the mission statement and vision, because this committee ended up developing something that was 3 or 4 pages long, whereas most of the committees ended up developing things that were 2 or 3 sentences long as a mission or vision, and then laid out strategies and goals separately.
Yeah.
So I'm not personally very comfortable redoing the mission statement at this meeting. Not that I brought it with us, but I'm not comfortable either.
Me either. the idea is to maybe come up with some idea plan and put it out to people and have them hopefully come back to the meeting next month, the last Monday of the month, and talk a little bit about what they want to see happen. Because as I said to everyone, the parks are community driven. And if we're not interested in making it happen, because there is funding, the state of California, the US government has put money into the states to help fund parks and opportunities for recreation in communities. And we need to get our part. So with your help and the help of anybody else who might be available, we can do what we need to make the park a show place, an opportunity for your kids and yourself to be proud of it. So.
Right. Well, and I would say you just kind of did a core vision, right? But we're not doing it exactly tonight, but it could be the mission or the vision could be something along what you just said, that we treasure our open spaces and, our parks, and they should be community driven. They should have robust programming for all members of the family. I mean, in other words, that's sort of a vision statement. And then what Greg also wants all of us to do is set up some actual measurable goals. And I don't know if that's feasible, but that's his goal. His measurable goal for himself is to have made the committees also accomplish the establishing of goals that are achievable, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, I understand that. That's definitely something we all feel better about if we've done something. You don't want to waste your time coming to meetings where nothing gets accomplished.
Well, that's true. But my goal 2 years ago was, let's have meetings. We're in a pandemic. In other words,
we're in a slightly different setting at this point because it does look like we now have to live with the pandemic as opposed to mark time until it's over. So we're pivoting into achievable goals. But so that would be a good thing for everyone to think about. I mean, seriously think about it and talk to your neighbors and kind of consider what a community would look like with thriving parks.
In this particular community, historic West Adams, what can we do?
Yeah, well, yes, but I mean, in other words, but are there other communities elsewhere that do have thriving parks, and how did they achieve it? And I mean elsewhere in LA, but I suppose I could mean Iowa, but probably it's a different setting.
Yeah, in LA, I found when we started working with Recreation and Parks in February, I called around to different parks and they don't have to battle to get things. They don't have to battle to get decent internet. They don't have to battle to get their houses restored. They don't have to battle, but we do. And it's sad to say, but that's what we have to do. And with your help, we, even if you make one phone call occasionally to some place, please understand that without your help, we won't get anything. Because there are thriving parks. There are things that are happening all over LA. And we are not going to get anything without a battle to get it.
Yeah, Donna, I will share with you, yes, it's a battle everywhere. One of my park facilities in the Valley is the newly opened Whitset Sports Complex, and it is the largest soccer complex. I think there's like 12 fields, professional fields of varying size, depending on the league. It took us 8 months to get Wi-Fi even installed in the community room for the cadets and LAPD. So it's not just this area, it is all over, but it takes work, and it takes work from the community.
Yes, it's community driven fully, you guys. And pick an issue and be willing, please, to help. You don't have to do everything, but if you did one thing, it would help.
Well, I will say, when you say, Jeff, when you say that, and Donna, we've been talking about Wi-Fi, it would not be inappropriate to set as a citywide goal that every park in Los Angeles become a public Wi-Fi hotspot with enough bandwidth for it to actually be useful. Because that helps. Go ahead, Jeff.
I can tell you that it's definitely, that would be done through the Rec and Parks Board Commission, but there are pluses and minuses to that. When we provided the Wi-Fi and finally got in place at the community room, we wanted it specifically limited to the community room and not open for outside users. And therein lies the conundrum. When you open it and provide Wi-Fi hotspot access, it's open to everyone, including residents who find safety and comfort in the park.
Yeah. Well, I hear you, but how do we resolve the issues of the digital divide?
Yes.
Without actually solving the issues of the digital divide by this city, you're not just this department, but the city, figuring out how to have Wi-Fi on every street corner, really. So I'm just saying something to consider. And there are other organizations working on this topic. I actually got an email today that I cannot access during this meeting from just one. I mean, when I say I think probably every UNNC board member, sort of a greetings from the digital divide or us. I mean, I'm joking, but some entity that's working on solving it. And so
there is an entity working on it, and it's the Board of Public Works, and they're doing it through the Bureau of Street Lighting. Street lighting has the largest cable and wired infrastructure in the entire city of Los Angeles, and there are lots of people interested in it for the reasons that you just mentioned.
Right. And so if the city is going to do that, I would want to make sure the parks are included. Maybe I'm saying it, let's say it that different way. And maybe this committee could bring someone out from one of the nonprofits that is working, there's more than one, working to achieve this, to speak at one of these meetings, our meetings. I'm just thinking out loud, but
it sounds good. If you can make that happen, or if you know somebody, I'll be more than happy. That would give people something to learn and make our park better and bring it up. I just would be happy if the buildings in the park right now would have access to have good internet so they can do the job that they're asked to do daily. And we're at 8 o'clock, and I'm not going to go beyond. We appreciate you attending, everyone that came. And please, it's an hour out of your day once a month. And if parks are important to you, you have young people, or you feel the park is important, I appreciate it. And please come again and attend and bring your ideas, because we need them. Thanks for everybody coming. And if you have something you would like to share now, and if not, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Donna.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Beverly, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Monica.
okay, but Donna, wait a minute for me.
Okay.
And if Jeff is still here, wait a minute, because what I'm looking for is, it's an organization. I don't know if Jeff's still here.
No.
You. Okay, but for Donna, it's an organization called fiberfirstla.org. And I will post that in the chat for you to also copy.
Save the chat. Save the chat. Save the chat.
Yes, I'm gonna save the chat. But remember, I ended up recording the meeting. But fiberfirstla.org is who just emailed neighborhood councils. So maybe we should just contact them and see.
Yes,
what
I think that's a good idea.
All right. Okay, so we are going to adjourn. I'm saving the chat. I am ending the recording, and then I'm going to end the meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night. Thanks, Beverly.